In this lesson, we're going to interpret graphs of functions and draw graphs of functions. So we do have a lot of vocabulary today. A coordinate system is the grid formed by the intersection of two number lines, the horizontal axis and the vertical axis. And it does look like this. And I'll put an example of that in your notes so you have that as well. The coordinate plane is the plane containing the x and y axes. The x-axis is the horizontal number line on a coordinate plane, so this is your x. And the y-axis is the vertical number line on a coordinate plane, so this is your y. Just to give you a visual of that, I'll do that in just a moment. An ordered pair is a set of numbers or coordinates used to locate any point on a coordinate plane, written in the form parenthesis x comma y. So we always write the x first, then the y. The x-coordinate is the first number in an ordered pair and it tells left or right. The y-coordinate is the second number in an ordered pair and it tells up or down. A relation is a set of ordered pairs. So if you just get a group of ordered pairs together, that's called a relation. And mapping is illustrating how each element of the domain is paired with an element of the range. And I'll show you an example of that as well. The domain is the set of first numbers in ordered pairs in a relation, and these are the x values. And I remember this because I'm a Husker fan, and if I say this is my domain, if I throw up the bones, that makes an x. And the range, if you look at a y, this has a range from one end to the other, and so I remember that range is the y. So these are all the y values. So domain is x values, the range is y values. An independent variable is the variable in a function whose value is subject to choice. So it's subject to choice, it could change. The dependent variable is the variable in a relation whose value depends on the value of the independent variable. And I'll give you some examples of this to help you understand the difference between independent and dependent variables. All right, so this is a coordinate grid. As you can see, this is our x-axis, this is our y-axis, and so this point in the center we call origin, and it is called 0, 0. It looks like this, kind of like owl eyes. This is 0, 0 right here. Now, this is what we call mapping. This is our domain, this is our range, so these are our x values, and these are our y values. We have to look at our relation here, and we look at our x values first. I have a -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. So I put all of the x values in the x map. Then my y values, if you'll look here, I have a 4, a 6, and an 8. I have 4 twice, but I only write it once. I'm just saying all the y values I have. I have a 4 and another 4, 6, an 8, and another 8, but I just write each one. So now I just draw from one to the other. -2 goes to 4. -1 goes to 4. 0 goes to 6. 1 goes to 8, and 2 goes to 8. So this is what we call a map of this relation. These are ordered pairs. The table of these ordered pairs would be 1 goes with 2, -2 goes with 4, 0 goes with -3. Now you could have these in order if you wanted to. I just graphed them as we had them here. The graph would be actual points. So 1, 2 would be right here. -2, 4 would be here, and 0, -3 would be here. The map, the domain would be the x value, so that would be -2, 0, and 1. You do have to go in order on a map. The y values that we have here are -3, 2, and 4. And remember, I go from the -2 to the 4. I go from the 0 to the -3, and I go from the 1 to the 2. So this is my map. Let's go ahead and write the domain and range. The domain would be fat man bracket, all the values of x, and the range would be fat man bracket, all the values of y. You'll have to do each one of these parts on your worksheet. I want to express this relation as a table, as a graph, and as a map, and this is what you'll have to do on your worksheet as well. So, in our table, we have 2, 5, -2, 3, 5, -2, -1, -2. Those are the 4 coordinates that we have in our relation. Now to graph them, right 2, up 5, left 2, up 3, right 5, down 2, move this out of the way here, left 1, down 2. So here are the points of these 4. Now, map X, I go in order, -2, -1, 2, 5. I go in order here, -2, 3, 5. I have -2 twice, but I only write it in the map once, remember? Now, -2 goes with 3, 5 goes with -2, -1 goes with -2, and 2 goes with 5. So this is our map. Our domain is -2, -1, 2, 5, and our range is -2, 3, 5. So you'll have to have all these parts on your worksheet. Now, the independent and dependent variables for these relations, let's go ahead and look at this example. The dance committee is selling tickets to the fall ball. The more tickets that they sell, the greater the amount of money they can spend for decorations. So you have to look at what could change here. How much money they make is what could change. So we have to find an independent and dependent variable from this situation. And I know that money is going to be one thing that could change, and the number of tickets could be something else as well. And this is complicated enough that I'll go over this in class with you. I think rather than having it on the video, we'll do the independent and dependence in class, because I have some posters that will help you out with that. So the last thing that you'll have to do for tomorrow is look at a graph and describe what's happening. So if you look at the x-axis, this is time, so how long you're on the bike, because this is bike ride. If you look at the y-axis, this is distance, how far you're traveling. So it looks like you started riding and you got pretty far away from home, and then maybe you stopped. Maybe your bike broke. Maybe you're taking a break. But you stopped because your distance did not change, but your time was going. And then your distance created on, so you went further away, and now you're at the park. So you will have to describe what happens in a graph situation on your worksheet. Here's change in income. Y-axis is income, so how much money you're making. The x-axis is time, how long you're working. So this particular person started making money, they're making good money, and then they started spending it. Maybe they went shopping. Who knows? Oh, but then they made more money here, and then they went shopping again. And then they made more money here, and then maybe they lost some money, but now they're making money bank. So this situation you will describe. You could have different answers from other people because it's your interpretation of the graph, but you really have to look at your x and y axes to know what's going on.